164 Dahlia Drive. I know those of you that have heard me speak before know I say this all the time. We have had a rash not only in this precinct, not only in this village, but across the county with copper theft, burglaries of abandoned houses or houses that have been foreclosed or for whatever reason are not occupied. Well, and I always say, and those of you who have heard me say it, please, if you see somebody going into a house that you know isn't occupied, or you see a car pull into the driveway, call 911. Well, everything went right about 3 weeks ago in regard to this event, because we had 3 911 calls regarding people apparently breaking into 164 Dahlia Drive. So that's fine. The citizens did what we asked them to do. Fortunately, timing was right with us because 715 was only a few blocks away. The 715 cop gets there, and lo and behold, he sees 1 of 2 people entering the back door of this house. He collars both of them. They had a pair of bolt cutters that they had used to cut the bolt on the back door. So we recovered that. We did a whole scene workup, photographs, everything. 2 people. A 19, 20-year-old and a 26-year-old. The 26-year-old had priors for, guess what, for burglary. So he was a frequent flyer. We get them to the precinct. The investigating detective sits them down, interrogates them. They both confess to the burglary. Sounds really good so far. This is really looking to be tied up in a nice little bundle. What's the next step we have to do? We have to get in touch with an agent or an owner of 164 Dahlia Drive, because we need a complainant. We need a signature on an affidavit stating that I, the owner, did not give anybody permission to break into this house. Well, that's where we had a problem. It turns out that the agent for 164 Dahlia was, and I gotta check my notes, was an outfit called, stand by, Safeguard Properties. An interesting name considering what happened here. The investigating detective, after doing all this work, after getting the confessions and doing the scene work, recovering the evidence, calls Safeguard Properties. And we're told basically this by Safeguard Properties. They will not cooperate in our investigation. They will not sign any statements. And when the detective asked him what financial institution owns this property, we were told by Safeguard that they do not divulge that information. So right now, this prosecution, instead of being one of a felony for burglary, we now have a prosecution for a misdemeanor for possession of burglar's tools, which, as you know, in the court system is going to go basically nowhere. So you know, just so you know, I brought this to the attention of Kate Browning, and this is something that I've had discussions with her in the past about this non-cooperation that we get. And she had her staff look into it, and they gave us 1 or 2 phone numbers of what they thought to be the former owner, which in fact turned out to be the former owner, but former is the key word here, because the detective contacted that individual, and he was told that, or the detective was informed that he no longer owns it, no longer has an interest in it, so that was a dead end. So I say this because it's a story and it's a problem that we run up against, unfortunately. And as I said at the opening of my remarks, everything went right here. We got the cooperation from the public. We had the cop that was right around the corner. We grabbed the guys. We got a confession. But because we're not getting cooperation from Safeguard, and you know, I'd like to know, maybe I don't know whether I can find this out, but I'm curious as to whether or not Safeguard is safeguarding any other properties down here or in the 7th precinct, because if this is what we're getting from them, then they're not, you know, they're not exercising good citizenship in my estimation. So that's my story for tonight, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yes.
Isn't it a New York State corporation or Delaware?
You know, That's a good question. They have an office in New York. It was an 800 number, but they have a physical presence here in New York.
The Department of State might have your answer. I don't know.
So was that assault and robbery on Whittier? Were the assailants residents of Mastic Beach?
No, they were not. Residents of Delco. Yes. I was talking to Bill about this when it happened, and again, we spoke tonight. Nothing official yet, but I can tell you this, there was no trauma whatsoever. No evidence of foul play. Yes, Nick?
I'd like to know why it takes more than 2.5 hours to get a patrol car.
It depends on what the call is.
Well, on August 14th, he came around the corner and wrapped his car around the telephone pole in front of our house, blocking my driveway. Because they had days when walking when the tree was broken. I called 911 at 8:17
In the evening,
in the evening, called them again at 8:38.
what were you told?
They'll get somebody there.
Okay.
First they asked if there was any trauma, the first one. Do I need an ambulance? I asked the kid, do I need an ambulance? He said no. 9:16, my husband called. They put him through the precinct. And they said they'll be there. 9:58 they finally showed up. No, 9:58 was the last phone call. They showed up at 10:15. The tow truck got there before, and the precinct told them the car couldn't be towed because his telephone pole was on. So it took over 2 hours. I'm not the only one. Another woman about a couple blocks away had a fight on the lawn across the street from her. She called, and it took them 2 hours. She called at midnight. She was told, well, do they have weapons? I'm not going to open it. She's not going to open the door to see if they had weapons and how many are there. It took 2 hours for her to get a patrol car. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right, it is. So I think there's probably more to the story. You said this was August 14th, at 8 o'clock at night?
8:16, he hit the phone, and I had 911 at 8:07.
And this was a one-car accident?
One car accident.
And the driver remained at the scene?
Yes, he did. Like I said, the tow truck came before the cops did, before you guys did.
Okay. I'll look
And he
at the
blocked,
phone.
my driveway was blocked. God forbid one of us had to get out.
Okay. If you want to, you can leave your name and phone number. If you want to see me after I leave, and I'll get back to you. Any other questions or complaints? Okay, that's all I got.
Bill, thank you again.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Okay, approving the minutes of the board meeting held on September 4th, 2013, so move.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
Want to hold that for,
all right, we'll hold that till,
the October meeting?
you got the abstract? The abstract? Can I have it, please? Thank you. Okay, I'd like to make a resolution to pay abstract number 4-2013 in the amount of $263,383.82. So move. All in favor? Moving into public hearings. Okay, we have a local law to amend section 260-1-4 to include the mortgagee in the definition of owners. A similar amendment of this definition of section 260-1-4 was made at last month's monthly meeting. This is a new local law providing a new definition.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Do you hear me today? Okay. This is very apropos of exactly what the inspector was talking about, and this is something that, unfortunately, we're going to sound like a broken record all the time. The law on banks and that safeguard companies like that holding possession of properties is changing all the time. There was a recent case in Chicago that Chicago had a similar rule, and they ruled that illegal, the federal courts. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to stay ahead of this all the time. So you're going to hear this as a broken record every couple months when there's a major change in the law. We want to change our definition to make sure we're keeping current to hold companies like the mayor was just talking about, mortgagees or other companies in possession of the property responsible for their property. What this seeks to do is to add a mortgagee, which is a bank or a bank holding company or a servicing company who has possession of the property, not to take title away, when they have possession at the end of a foreclosure, when it sits between on their books and between an auction. We want to add that to the definition. That's what it seeks to do tonight.
So for public comment, we have a public hearing. If anybody from the public would like to speak, please come up to the podium, sign in. If none, I'd like to close. Coming up?
Oh, no, not on this subject.
Okay.
I'll be.
I'd like to close the public portion of this, and I'd like to make a resolution amending section 260-1-4 to include a mortgagee as the definition of the owner. A similar amendment. So moved. All in favor? Okay. Moving along, resolution setting a public hearing for the adoption of chapter 530, the village's first zoning code, to be held on September 26, 2013 at 5 p.m. at the Mastic Beach Nutrition Center, 369 Neighborhood Road, Mastic Beach, New York. So moved. Second by Gail, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none? Resolution setting a public hearing to amend section 380-4A of chapter 380 of the village code to create a rebuttable presumption of rent, to be held on October 8, 2013 at 7 p.m. at the Mastic Beach Fire Department Headquarters, 265 Neighborhood Road, Mastic Beach, New York. So moved. That's actually at a monthly meeting.
Correct. You're just setting public hearing.
All in favor?
Okay. Resolution accepting a sequence statement of findings for the adoption of the village zoning code. So moved. Second. Gary, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution setting a public hearing to amend Article 1 of Chapter 470 of the Village Code to impose a gross receipt tax on utilities operating within the village, to be held on October 8, 2013 at 7 p.m. at the Mastic Beach Fire Department Headquarters, 265 Neighborhood Road, Mastic Beach, New York. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We'll move along to 7B. I'd like to make a resolution hiring H2M for the design, and that would be study also, correct?
Yes.
Study of a sewer treatment plant. So moved.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'd like to make a resolution hiring John Morris as a consultant for the Office of the Treasurer. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, moving right along then. Trustees report. We'll start off with Trustee Morrow.
Okay, trustees, the code enforcement for the month of August. Number of complaints received were 230. Number of appearance tickets were 105. Number of unfounded complaints was 19. Number of closed by compliance was 44. And the number of warnings that were issued was 25.
Thank you, Bob. Trustee Capriello?
48 rentals permits were issued this month, 27 building permits, 8 certificate of compliance, and 5 certificate of existing use. There were 28 searches. 8 stop rentals were put into place. Those are 143Bs, which stops the rental from going to a house that is not suitable for habitation. And 6 homes were closed down as unfit. In addition, I'd just like to mention that we still have some funds available in the Robin Hood Foundation grant. Anyone whose home was damaged in Superstorm Sandy, any unmet needs that your insurance didn't cover, you're eligible to fill out an application and bring it back to Village Hall for consideration. We also still have the National Grid Survey out. Anyone who's interested in filling this out to help bring natural gas into the village. These forms are on the table. And we have a form asking people to fill out their email address so that you are kept up to date on all things that are going on in the village.
Thank you, Gail. Trustee Starks?
The DPW, if anybody's been up on Mastic Road, up by Smitty's and 7-Eleven, some of the intersections up there, we took some of the CHIPS funds from New York State and we repaved those areas, which were absolutely horrible. It's the starting of using the CHIPS funds. That's state funds that took care of it, so it didn't cost anyone in Mastic Beach anything. The new heat machine will be going out probably this coming week. That is a machine, infrared machine for doing patching on the roads, which doesn't leave any bump whatsoever on a road patch. So from now on, we're going to be using that machine rather than filling potholes. This way, it completely seals it and never noticed this before. We're also raising up some drains. If anyone has any complaints on potholes, please call them in. We need you, anybody out there who sees something wrong, please don't hesitate to call them. Any question? Yes.
Sir, if there's an issue with a road that has something to do with the pothole, we still call it into the same number?
Oh, sure.
Okay, thank you. Nick, Trustee Business?
We had 70 DTL violations closed, 47 house violations that were completely closed down, and fines were all paid. And the court has issued 26 arrest warrants. I'm working with Sergeant Mullen from the warrant squad. He's brought probably up to this date 9 people in. Not arresting them, directing them to come to Village Hall, turn themselves in, give an adjourned date, and come back to court. That's just about it for my report.
Thank you. Just want to mention, in the past, the Carter used to be able to take used TVs from residents' properties. There's some new law that's out there now. He's not allowed to take them. So what we're going to do is he's going to supply us with a roll-off. And if anybody needs a TV taken off their property and knows where there's one sitting, the village will pick it up and get it up off the road. I know there's been some mix-up because TVs have been sitting in front of houses for a couple of weeks. When we finally got the word that they're not picking them up, we investigated it, and that's the arrangements we made today. We'll pick them up, and he'll get rid of them. He just can't pick them up. Thank you. I just stressed on what Gail had mentioned with this gas survey. I'd like to actually put it to rest, hopefully by the end of September. We got quite a few hundred in there. We want to plot them to see what areas actually came in with large responses. It's going to be a plus for the village, so if you're talking to anybody, other organizations out there, please make sure your the people in your organization know that these survey forms are very important. We definitely want to get gas down there. Update on the Barrier Beach. I was told by Congressman Bishop's office last week, they're going to do from Smith Point to Mauritius Inlet. There's just a little discussion on where the height is going to fall. I was told 13, then I was told it was moved to 15. Today it's iffy for 15, but it's going to be 90 feet wide. They're looking to probably start the project sometime in January of 2014. If it could be done sooner, great. But just keep your fingers crossed. Doesn't look like there's much action out in the Atlantic, and I'm hoping for a nice winter. Other than that, open for public comment. If anybody would like to speak, please come up, sign a sheet, state your name, and you've got 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Marie DeMeo, and I'm the village beggar, and I'm back again. Some people miss me, but I'm back, and I'll be at the back door, so if you want to leave, just drop me $1 or $2. We feed the people in that area. We're located to the east side of the shrine at St. Jude's. We're open there from 9 to 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we help anybody who needs help. Mary and I go shopping every week. People have seen us in the supermarket with 100 boxes of macaroni. It's not for us. People question us. That's what we do, so I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
My name is John Mutt. I live right here. You know what? On now. My name is John Mutt. I live right here in Mastic Beach. First question. Public hearing on gross receipt tax on utilities. Is that gross receipt tax going to be passed back down to us?
Right now, we collect the receipt taxes from Cablevision. There's a lot of rumors out there that possibly the town of Brookhaven could have been collecting from LIPA and the phone company for the past 3 years, so we actually are investigating it right now.
Okay.
Could be revenue coming back to us.
Another footnote for village, Brookhaven town is still collecting rental permit fees in village houses. How's that one?
Really?
Yeah. And it's uninspected. And they even said they're inspected on the houses. So I just
I'll
figured I'd let you
address
know.
that with Mr. Romaine in the morning.
Okay. The other thing, in the past 3 months, we've had 5 dog attacks in my neighborhood. Pit bulls. My wife and I own Rottweilers. We have to have special insurance to maintain those animals in my house. My dogs get loose and eat somebody. They'll eat somebody. My insurance, I have to pay for that. Plus, whatever happens to whoever they ate is another story. But we had Jessica Prios, okay? The other day we had 2 loose pit bulls that Joe didn't see it, but they attacked a deer at the end of my block. Okay? My wife walks with a 2.5-pound dog. There was also where Jessica got attacked, was around the corner. I don't know what the village can do. I know code enforcement didn't respond to the 2 loose pit bulls the other day. But they left, they couldn't do anything with the dogs. And Joe and I responded with dog catching sticks. Then I said, what the hell are we gonna do with these freaking dogs if we catch them? Nobody wants them. This is something that everybody should think about. You're walking your dog, you're walking outside, and a pit bull comes out and grabs you, you guys got no chance. So the village, I don't know what you guys can do.
We'll definitely look into it, John. I'll get you back on this.
Okay?
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, you know, it's, that's a concern that comes up in a lot of villages, with animal control. Animal control is expensive, because you have to have a shelter and do all these things. You mainly treat them, even if they're just pit bulls who are out there murdering people. You know, you have to treat them humanely when you get them. So, our code enforcement does have, in the Mastic Beach Code, an animal code that talks about restrictions on dogs. It's illegal. Anyone who has control, you gotta prove ownership, you gotta prove what house it came out of. You can see it, you know, it all makes sense to help code enforcement say, I just saw it come out of, 148 Dahlia, you just ran out of the backyard. It's illegal to have a dog running large in the village of Mastic Beach. That seems like common sense, but it's in there. So code can issue a ticket. As every other village in the town of Brookhaven, because of the size of the control, the animal control officer for the village is actually the town of Brookhaven. So if you see that, you can call them. I'm sure they're gonna say you live in a village, but they're used to that, because every village appoints the animal, the dog control officer of the town of Brookhaven as their animal control guy.
Okay. Gail was present, Frank was present, and Jessica was attacked. Police showed up.
Yeah.
You know what their actions were? 0. You know why? Because the people who owned the dog put it in the house and said it wasn't their dog. But the witnesses that were there, their words wasn't good enough. The result is somebody's definitely going to get hurt on the road sooner or later. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Maybe everybody forgot about the goats that got eaten down the road. It's going to happen. And I don't know if the village, if they do issue the tickets, if they can follow through, make sure the people have homeowners insurance. If they're renters, then the guy who's renting the house then has to have the insurance. Maybe it's another step you can look at.
Definitely call the town of Brookhaven Animal Control when you see them running at large.
They didn't respond either. We called the police, we called the village, then Joe and I got some.
Yeah.
Right, is there anything you can do as far as a local law? If they rent, they have to have,
We're looking at that. We're looking at
I
that.
mean, even the fact that homeowner sheltered the dog, said it wasn't theirs, and that homeowner who sheltered the dog should have the summons.
Yeah, we're looking at that. The issue is enforceability of that code, because like that, for that exact illustration, where the guy takes the dogs, puts them inside the house, and says they're not my dogs. It's difficult to even prove the dog with ownership. They don't come with license plates, they don't have numbers on the side of them. So it's hard to prove the animal was white, was brown, was that the animal? No, it was this animal. So we're looking at the enforceability of it. I know Queens Borough suggested a similar kind of law about if you're renting, you have to have the insurance, you have to disclose. You have a rental permit, you have it, if you're harboring any dogs, but we're looking at that, so whether we can do it or not.
Also, the police watched on Waycrest, there was a guy laying on his pit bull, keeping it from, it attacked the dog. They separated him, and he was out there for at least 20 minutes or a half hour, holding his dog down, while the police car was parked behind him, watching him hold his dog down. Did nothing.
Okay, ma'am?
I would like to get a comment, that obviously you saw this article, September 3rd, about Mastic Beach. There's, they're gonna try to raise 4,500 or 400.
Not in Mastic Beach, that's all along Nassau and Suffolk County.
Well-
I think actually that's just Suffolk County.
No, it's got Mastic Beach.
Right, but it's not just Mastic.
Right, it's not just Mastic Beach, but we're right in here. So I was wondering if we could comment on it, what we should be thinking and what we should be doing. I'm right on the water, and we weren't able to, from our flood insurance, we were able to replace our utilities, but we weren't able to raise them off the ground. So we were very.
Was your house damaged at all during the storm?
Our house is off the ground, but it is an old house, and all our utilities are under the house, so they were like that.
If you can, before you leave tonight, just give me your address, and what I'll do is I'll do the research tomorrow, find out what area you live in, what zone you live in.
Yeah, we're on the water, so.
Right on Riviera Drive?
We're on Park, and we have water right behind us, we're opposite Laurel.
Okay. Have you filled out any paperwork at all?
Flood insurance.
Okay, but nothing through the village as far as requesting?
Okay, that's why I'm asking you that.
Okay. Actually, it's funny you should bring the newspaper because the Army Corps of Engineers said the same thing today, which basically is the same thing, and I wanted an explanation of that because there's a lot of triangles and dots, and what does that mean?
Right.
The answer I got back is we don't know. So, I think they put that in there just, my own personal feelings was for publicity.
Well, they have the map of Mastic Beach, they have all the lines for the street. If you look at your own street, it's covered with Google Docs.
And correct, I did the same thing right here, but they don't know what those dots mean. If you look at the legend, an existing structure is a square box, and there isn't a square box in there. So until they give me an idea what NS1, NS2, and NS3 stand for, I'm hopefully going to get an answer within the next couple of days. All right, thank you.
Ma'am, ma'am, have you applied for the Robinsons yet?
No, I didn't,
You
no.
really should, ma'am.
Yeah, I
It's a gift.
Now, please do so soon though, because if we don't do it by the next couple of weeks, we're going to be giving back some money.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay.
Because we were required for wind damage for our roof, our house insurance is usually, yes, that would be good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Could you just tell us what the article was about?
Hi everybody, Eva and Eva Bonus from KB, very from previous guy. And I got some.
Turn it off.
So, I just would like to know, because I was late, so I don't know if anybody made an announcement that we have art show. This Saturday, 12 to 6, an antique road show, so bring your antiques and have a good time with us. And rain day will be on Sunday. And I have one more suggestion, I don't know if you think it's good or not. But new employees, they would come to the meeting and introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves so we all know each other, kind of. So what do you think about it?
I can't speak for them, but if I was an employee, I wouldn't want to come here. It might beat me up.
What is how you feel about it? You know, some kind of, so the Sept is like more personal, because we wanted to have like more personal venue, not like distant one. I think it's going to be nice.
I'll suggest it to them, and I'm not going to force them to do it. All right, thank you.
I know why I came tonight. Roadside parking. There was a letter that was circulated from the village, am I correct?
Yes, there was.
I didn't get the letter. But I'm not the only one. You know, but I just want to know what the roadside parallel parking to the edge of
It was sent out to every household.
I think that, I think they're going to deliver, when they're actually delivering mail to your house. If they don't deliver mail to your house, they don't.
I can't speak for them. They're supposed to deliver mail to everybody's house, whether you're there or not. Okay. September 15th, I think it is. What happened is, and that's the parking on the wrong side of the street. I happen to be against it, but I was outnumbered. I parked the opposite way, so I'm just as guilty as a lot of us. But the truth of the matter is, you're supposed to be parked in the direction of traffic. You know, we have a couple of things that we're doing right now. A lot of these roads are narrow, so you know, people are actually parking on the wrong side of the street, which is actually pushing cars way over onto other people's properties and whatnot. So we're basically just trying to enforce it. We sent out the notice, so this way people can't tell us, you know, we didn't get notified of this. So if you didn't get it, we'll find out why. And
Okay, next question. How far off the road can you park parallel to the road?
how far what?
Off the road can you park? There's also, we have a variance, you can't park on the front lawn, am I correct?
Correct.
There's a lot of people that park perpendicular to the road and they actually almost drive up to their front doors, so they're 90 degrees to the road. Or you could parallel park to the road on the curbing, let's say, which we don't have curbing or sidewalks, so shoulder. So is that going to be acceptable, parking on the shoulder at nighttime on village streets?
As long as you're not parked on the lawn, I mean, if there's a shoulder on the road, you can
Well,
park it.
you don't have shoulders.
Yeah,
It's grass.
you're not really supposed to be parked on the
You're
bridge.
not supposed to park on the lawn, but you're supposed to be, if it looks like it's in the path of the roadway, you're supposed to technically park against your property, adjacent to it, what the law says.
But it means your car would be on the road, right?
Well, yeah, you're supposed to, you know, if you have a little bit of a shoulder, it's all about the officer's discretion on how close you can get. If you're parked in front of your lawn and you're only 2 steps from your front door, that's parking on your lawn. If you're close to your road, you're kind of near the edge, that's where you have to be.
Okay, because a lot of our streets, like Bill said,
It's soft.
if you park the car on the road, you're not gonna get a car down the middle of the road. So that forces you to park on the grass off the main road, which now puts you in your front yard. You have a 40-foot front yard, 10 feet of it, it's now a car.
Yep.
So now you guys have a dilemma. You can't park on the village street, but you can't park on the grass next to the road, which should be a shoulder.
It's gonna be a close call out in the street.
Well, you
It's like
guys,
somebody going 55 on the expressway and somebody going 80.
well, pretty soon you guys will be issuing tickets. And my question now is, how are you gonna handle it?
Yeah, it's gonna be, as we see as it goes on, it's like, again, it's like speeding on the expressway, somebody going 55, somebody going 80. You get the guy going 60? Probably not, but you definitely get the guy going 80.
Okay,
In this case, he's got a fence 10 feet into
see, we had,
he's parking between the roads.
years ago, when we had the house, when we did the house, we had Brookhaven, gave us the guidelines for the center of the road so far, so we put our fence 10 feet off the road, which allows us to park in front of the fence. Because on the fence, facing the road is not considered your front yard. You don't have that definition in our bylaws. The fence, between the fence and the front door is your front yard.
Correct.
So in our situation, we shouldn't get tickets, but
Yeah. I think I agree with you. That interpretation sounds right to you.
okay, anyway, thank you. We're gonna be issuing a lot of tickets.
I think the problem was parking on the grass is an emotion problem.
I think that should be.
That's where you get the tickets, when they nose them in, just pull right onto the lawn, and the front of the car is actually facing the front.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. The federal funding that you were talking about, that this lady was talking about also, that was in Newsday and all that, if you've already had that your property is eligible to be raised by the village, does that automatically include you in the federal, or?
You're included in it, you have to sign up. Sign up to be uprising?
Yes, I've signed up.
Then you will get a project manager that will.
Right, we have.
Process. Yes.
Okay.
That's a-
Number two, in reference to the Robin Hood Foundation, okay, I sent in an application. Now, they sent back a letter saying that I needed receipts.
Well, I don't know what you asked for. It depends on what you're requesting. Either receipts or, if you've already purchased the item, you want reimbursement. We can't give you a check.
I understand this. So what the Robin Hood Foundation is really doing is paying.
For the item.
Right.
Have you purchased the items yet?
I purchased some items, yes.
Okay, so if you have the receipts, whether you did it on a credit card, just come down, fill out the application. If there's items that you need and you didn't purchase yet, you let us know what you need, and if it's whether Home Depot or Bed Bath & Beyond or any one of the stores, we give you a gift card.
All right, since they already filled out the application and sent the letter and everything, if I just bring down the receipts and said this goes with such and such application? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Nobody else? Wow, record breaking. Okay, seeing nothing else, I'll accept the motion to,
Motion.
second. So moved. Thank you everyone for coming out.
All right, 8 o'clock.